folks, and welcome to another Sunday morning Samoflange. It's just me solo right now. Of course, Benjamin is still working on his show. He will be back in a couple of weeks, and he wants to talk about Strange New Worlds. I guess he's been watching it, and he's really excited to talk about it. And then we have another one we're going to plan together. This one, I was on I think it was a nightcap a while back. And someone brought the idea of what my favorite war movie was. And I was like, wow. And then I started thinking about it. I don't think we've ever done that for a Saturday morning Samoflange before, which is kind of funny because I remember back in the day when it was me, Mikey, and CJ, we talked about our top 5 comedies, dramas, chick flicks, which I had no say in that one. What was the other one? Action movies, horror movies. We just kind of went through every genre. But war movies, we never went through. And I guess that's because I kind of grew to men with action movies. And I guess because of that, but war movies are kind of their own thing. You know, battles happening, wars are happening. One of the other things that when someone gave me that idea, I was, okay, great. That's a great idea. I started writing it down. I only got one of these from the internet, meaning I remember what I wanted to put down, but I couldn't remember the title of it. And I finally figured out what it was by searching the internet. Say, oh, that was it. I can't believe I forgot the name of it too. Should it be in my top 5? But I knew it was going to be in my top 5. Now here's the problem. There are movies like Apocalypse Now that's not going to be on my list because I don't like Apocalypse Now, and I can't remember what other war movies are out there that I don't like. There are some that I like better than others. There are others that I really liked when they came out, but now I just don't remember them. I do not remember Black Hawk Down. I remember I loved it. I don't remember Thin Red Line that much, but I remember I loved it. You know, so there's a lot of these war movies, and you're like, well, Matt, why don't you just watch them again before you do this? Like, prep a little, for crying out loud. Yeah, I'd love to, but movies aren't my thing. When I watch a movie, very rarely do I watch it the whole way through, unless my family's around, we're doing something special. If it's just me or even me and my wife, we'll watch 1/3 of a movie. It literally takes me 3 days, 3 days to watch a movie, just because I'm just not that interested anymore. I can stick around watching TV for about 30 minutes or so, and then I'm done. But going to the movie theater, sure, I guess we don't do that as much, but it's very hard for a movie to keep me engaged the whole way through. And it just depends. But that's not my choice of how I want to spend my time. I've said this before, but I try to avoid saying the phrase, "Oh, I didn't have the time." I didn't make the time. Was the true reason I didn't make the time. And I don't make the time for movies that much. TV, a little bit, yes, because TV can be 30 minutes long or something like that. Even episode of these Survivors can go 45, 55 minutes. I do not watch them all the way through. I have to watch them in two takes. You know, I'll watch one, then watch the second half of it later. Because really about 30 minutes is max for me these days. I just feel like I could be doing something else. What am I usually doing? Well, I'd rather be doing board games, obviously. Board games I'm a big fan of. Love playing board games. Any chance I get to have a board game night or anything like that, I'm not going to pass it up at all. And then what else? Oh, so besides board games, I also love to read. A lot of spare moments are spent reading. I don't get many. I don't get much open time. You know, I like to do a stream every now and then, but even that's been kind of rare when I do streams now. Besides my live Q&A, and that's just because when I'm not playing board games or reading, I am cleaning up the house. That's when my kids are in bed. I'm talking about when my kids are here. I'm taking care of all 4 kids, all at once. The missus does a lot of theater, and so she's gone all every night and all day on Saturdays. So really don't see her that much, but it's just me watching the kids. So only around 8 o'clock is when the little babies go to bed. 8:30 is when the little girls go to bed, but they're still up at 9, chittering and whispering and giggling like little girls do. There's nothing I can do about that besides keep threatening them, empty threats that they know are empty threats. But other than that, then I'm cleaning. We have a 2-story house, and it's just constant. And it's my decision. I don't do one big 4-hour day of cleaning. I split that up into like an hour a night on most nights, Monday through Thursday, when I'm not having something over. If I'm having a podcast or whatever, obviously I'm not cleaning that night. When I'm having a board game night, obviously I'm not cleaning that night. So, in a perfect cleaning week, that's boring for me because I have no one coming over for podcasts. I have no one coming over to clean. I'm able to do an hour of cleaning. You know what? I got some time to go because it's just me. I'll tell you how it goes. How does my cleaning divide out? Vacuuming, and I vacuum all the rooms, and then I one night, and then I mop the kitchen floor, which is always nasty because if my wife spills something on there, she doesn't clean it up. She just leaves it there, or maybe gets a towel and wipes it. Doesn't, like, get a wet towel and wipe it, so it's all sticky. So I have a movie theater kitchen, and my kids aren't cleaning up either. But I noticed my wife just let my kids spill Sprite everywhere. She got a paper towel and wiped it up. I was like, but you got to get a wet rag. And she went, well, I'll do that later. You'll do it later? It's worse if you wait till later. No wonder. We have sugar ants everywhere. But anyway, so I got a mop once a week. And I also I vacuum before I mop, and I mop everywhere. Mop in the dining room, kitchen, whatnot. That's day one. That's one. Another one that I'll do is I'll clean up the stairs. I sweep them. I wipe down the banisters and the steps with a wood polish. With a nice wood polish glow, and then I clean up the girls' room, which is constantly kept in a mess. No one cleans up around here. No one, no one, no one. My children don't even know how to clean up. I keep telling them, but it's not working. I need to get harder on them, but no one else cleans up in the house. Why should they? So after that, then I vacuum the entire upstairs floor, which I do have a now a shampooer, a deep clean vacuum, and I got the downstairs, and boy, that was satisfying because the carpet feels softer now, and I got out a lot of dirt and grime. I mean, that it was dirty water for me pulling it all out, and I love that. I have yet to do that upstairs, but that's going to be an extra cleaning hour that I don't have yet. But anyway, that's basically 1 hour cleaning there. The other hour of cleaning happens to do with all the bathrooms. We have one, two, three, four bathrooms here, and I have to clean them once a week. And so that's a good hour there. And then what was my fourth hour? Now I can't remember. Oh. The other one is subjective. I mean, it's going to be cleaning up gibberish, getting rid of my wife piles junk on tables, on chairs. We can't sit anywhere. We can't do anything. I try to clear as much as I can and throw some of it away. And so I try to clear up clutter. I sweep the patio. We have an enclosed patio, which no one ever goes out except for the kids. But it gets dusty like everything does. So I'll do that. And I have not done this in a long time, so I need to do it. It's dust the fans, dust the shelves, dusting, like just getting the little duster. I don't do that as much as I should because I just keep forgetting about it. But I'll do that. I'll wipe down the knobs, even though my girls will just grab anything and they got sticky hands, and so they're sticky knobs. It bothers me. I'm sure it freaks out guests if they grab a sticky knob. I'm thinking right now the front door knob is super sticky, so I need to wipe that off tonight. And then I'll do just like little odd things. I haven't, that 1 other hour of the day is something like that. It's gonna be sweeping the porch. It's gonna be, cleaning out clutter and junk, and just trying to make some headway and stuff. I mean, like, sometimes cleaning out the cars because everyone brings junk in there. No one helps take out junk. If you just take out a handful of junk a day. My car used to be spotless when it was just me, because I would make sure not to let the clutter build. And then everyone's like, "Oh, sorry about the clutter, dude." All you have to do is not let the clutter build. And I'll also empty waste paper baskets too. So I mean, it's just the odd and ends job. The little, cleaning out some baseboards and stuff like that. I used to do a deep clean once a year when my wife goes on a trip, and so every night for 4 hours a night, I take one room or one section of the house and do a deep clean. And I remember that whole week did a deep clean, and I was so excited for my wife came home, and she came home and didn't even notice, I guess, because the house is generally kept clean, but she didn't know it was a deep clean. I was like so proud of everything I cleaned, but oh well. That's so much for being a neat freak, right? I'm not really a neat freak. Like, I can accept it bothers me that there's things that need to be cleaned, no doubt, but it's not like I'm constantly obsessing over it. I mean, I try to clean as much as I can, but I understand, some things you just can't control. And I feel like one of those doozers from Fraggle Rock who's constantly cleaning up for no avail. It's just a never-ending cycle. Though I do need to go through here and just throw a ton of toys away. My girls have way too many toys. They dump out boxes just to get to certain toys. And now I've kind of pinpointed what those toys are. I need to just go through here with a big old garbage bag and just to do voracious cleaning of clearing house for a lot of these toys here that they just do not play with anymore. But anyway, so there's my cleaning habits. Now, speaking of war stories, since these two go hand in hand, let's go. I don't think I have any honorable mentions. Let me check real quick and see. Nope. After a quick check, no honorable mentions. But I'll just go to my top 5 here. And to be honest, could I be forgetting something? Yes. But remember, a lot of these war movies I saw, and I just don't remember that much. My number 5 is one that I bet no one has seen nor heard about. Gods and Generals. It is a Civil War or War Between the States movie that is very accurate, so accurate that it copies almost word for word some of the letters that were written by soldiers and stuff. Um, I was super skeptical when I was told about this movie. I remember watching this movie. This was and by the way, this is a 4-hour movie. I remember this movie had an intermission. That's right, an intermission. It said intermission, played some music while I guess they switched out reels or whatnot. Because, I mean, now today you get these 3-hour Goliath movies, but this was a 4-hour movie with an intermission. We knew that. The same guy had done, I should have put some study into this. He had done a few other War Between the States movies, but this was his big one. This is his big one. I think it underperformed in theaters. I think it came out and left, within the same weekend. But I went with a big group of people, a lot of them being history majors, and they were very excited hearing that this was supposed to be from the pages of people's. And we read some of the letters and stuff like that before going, and then afterwards, I read a little bit more, and true enough, it was pretty close to historic accounts. But the problem was history's kind of boring. You probably need to put a little bit more action and storytelling, and you got to ad-lib a little bit, That's why these movies say based off a true story, not literally the true story as we know it. But Gods and Generals was really good. I was impressed for 4 hours. And by the way, when I heard it was 4 hours, I'd never been to a 4-hour movie before. I was thinking, oh my gosh. And I thought that's like half a day, really, I'm wasting, 4.5 hours in theaters. I can't remember how long the intermission was, but it was a few minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. And I enjoyed it. I was shocked because I wasn't bored the whole way through. And it was very historically accurate as best I knew. And even afterwards. And I was like, wow, that was a feat. And I remember I can't remember who I was sitting with, but I remember telling, it was someone that I knew who was another history major. I said, they'll never make another movie like this again for theaters. And I think I'm right. I mean, it's almost like a live reenactment documentary with documentaries are that, historically correct at times. But, it's like a reenactment of a documentary. And there's no way I said this would come out in theaters again. And I'm right on that. But I did enjoy it. So for history majors, I think it's something a lot of people enjoy. If you're looking for like big drama, I mean, it has some good moments. I think it has some great moments in it. But if you're looking for your typical war movie, even for that time period, you probably want to go somewhere else. Because it ain't based on a true story. It is the true story. As best they know how. But I thought it was magnificent. I have not seen it. I saw it once with another roommate of mine who was a history major as well. And because he had asked me what I thought about it, because it had come out in theaters like a few years, maybe 5 years later. And I was like, yeah, I remember it being good. I said, do you want to rent it? The thing's like, it's going to be 2 VHS tapes or 2 DVDs with DVDs were back. I can't remember what was back then. I said, it's a long movie. I'll sit through it again. And we did. And he went nuts because he knew more than I did about it. And he was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, yeah. And that made it an enjoyable experience. So both times, I mean, I'm sure if I sat with people who were, this is an I'm on my phone movie for like tons of people. I don't see anyone liking this movie but me, probably. But I did enjoy it. Gods and Generals, number 5. Number 4 is one everyone, now I went from one that no one's heard of to one that everyone's heard of. It is Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, thought it was good. I remember going to see Saving Private Ryan. Oh gosh. I can't remember if this was the same movie, but what year did this? Yeah, let me ask Alexa, what year did Saving Private Ryan come out? Alexa's going to be on here
The
for a
film
minute.
Saving Private Ryan was released on July 24th, 1998.
Okay, 98. Alexa, when did Titanic come out?
The film Titanic was released on December 19th, 1997.
Okay. So I think Titanic may have still been playing in theaters because back then movies played in theaters for a very long time. And I was going out on a date. I wanted to see Saving Private Ryan, but I knew the right thing was to go watch Titanic. I did not want to see Titanic. No, it wasn't Titanic. It wasn't Titanic. It was another movie. It was oh my goodness, it was a Drew Barrymore chick flick, and maybe Happily Ever After or something. And I did not want to see this movie. And I knew the girl wanted to see that movie. And but I didn't want to see it. Now the right thing to do is go see the chick flick, right? That's the smart thing to do. But remember, this is young Matt. Young Matt's not smart. And so, I really like the girl. And she goes, well, I said, well, what do you want to watch? And if she would have said it, I'd have gotten tickets. But then she made the classic mistake that every girl makes to say, whatever you want to watch. Now, what a girl means by that is you better make this right decision. Don't make me tell you what the right decision is on date night. You make the right decision. And me being stupid, dropped the ball and I said, great. And we went and saw Saving Private Ryan. I was into it the whole time. I was loving it. I had looked over, and this is back before cell phones, and there she is, slumped over in her seat, you know, her palm of her hand is on her chin, and she is bored as all get out. She hates it. She hates being there. She hates movie night. And I'm going, oops. And I went, oh man, I screwed that up. Oh well, and enjoyed the rest of the film. We never went out to eat. We never went out again after that. Yeah, I've screwed up more than one date night. Let me tell you that. Back in the day, my favorite. Off topic now. So number 4, Saving Private Ryan. My favorite screw up for date night. There's this girl, and I'd seen her at. I used to go to a lot of concerts back. I think I was just out of college, fresh out of college, and I went to tons of concerts. Maybe I was still in college. I can't remember. But either way, I was going to one concert after the next, anywhere around the area. Dallas, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Jackson. Anywhere it went, I was going to all these. Well, I kept seeing the same girl at all of them. And I was like, this is insane that we keep running into each other. Well, then I finally asked her, said, where are you from? And she happened to be from Monroe, Louisiana, where I'm from. I was like, shut up. We live in. But not only that, I went. When did I talk to her again? No, I said, well, look, give me your number. I'll call you and we'll hang out. Go out on a date because she was really cute. And so we went on a date, and on the date, I found out that not only were we from the same town, but she used to live across the street from where I grew up. Our parents lived catty-cornered across from each other. And then when she told me, who her dad was and where they used to live, I went, "Shut up! I know. I used to play basketball with your dad." And she was a few years younger than me. Um, and so she never played basketball with us. And to be fair, I remember her, as a little girl. I mean, I was little too, but I didn't think much of her. If I'm 13 and she's 9, I don't care. But anyway, I was like, oh my gosh. So I asked how her dad was doing and everything because he had a basketball goal and we didn't at the time. So he'd let us come over and play, and he'd play with us, which is really awesome. And she said he was really happy because he only had girls, and but they had a basketball goal when they moved in there, and he wanted to play, but he didn't have anyone to play with. So when we came over, that was fun for him too. And I thought, wow, this is really working out here because now we kind of have this past connection. And so after we got to eat, we then go to putt putt. That's a nice thing to do on date night. And during putt putt, she starts doing the thing that girls do sometimes. They complain about their old boyfriend, and we're supposed to say, yeah, oh man, what a dirtbag. Oh yeah, he's awful. Oh, that's terrible. And she said she had this boyfriend. He moved out to San Antonio. Blah blah blah. He was cheating on her, and she knew it. So she knew that he was going to break up with her. So what she did is drove all the way down to San Antonio and confronted him. And do you know what he did? He broke up with me right then and there. So, and then I had to drive all the way back from San Antonio by myself and he broke up with me. And I was thinking, well, well, didn't you say you knew he was going to break up with you anyway? She went, yeah, but I can't believe that he did it right there in San Antonio. I was like, yeah, but you you went and confronted him about it, right? She said, well, yeah, because he was being a dirtbag. I said, okay, then why are you upset that he dumped you right then and there? It seems like you didn't want him anyway, and now you're complaining that you had to drive all the way back. In my opinion, I don't think you should have driven out there at all. That was not the right thing to say, and I knew it the moment it left because at the time, oh man, this would have been a perfect movie because I was like, I don't think you should have driven out there at all. Well, then I went back to kick. I hit the ball and I went, shut up, and I got a hole. I said, hole in one, and I looked at her for a high five. She was pissed, and that's when I went, oh, well, there goes that chance. We never went out again. Never went out again. Um, I tried to keep in touch with her. You know, she wouldn't return my texts or anything, and I knew it wouldn't return my calls at all. And I was like, okay, all right, I know you're pissed, but look, we'll be friends. You know, I didn't say sorry because I thought she did a dumb thing. She actually married an acquaintance of mine. I wouldn't say a friend. I knew him. We hung out a few times. I found out he was dating her. I was like, oh, shut up. She's a good girl. You know, I said, hey, I hear you're dating so and so. You know, congrats. And they got married, and I congratulated her again. Of course, she wasn't texting me back. Her husband would. I'd text him. He'd say, thanks, bro. You know, but then I heard they got divorced. So I don't know where she is now. Don't really care. But I just remember that was one epic screw up. That was really funny. The look on her face. Oh, geez, she was pissed. All right, number 3. I don't know if this counts. Yeah, it counts. Top Gun Maverick. I mean, there's got to be Top Gun. I love Top Gun Maverick. And here's the thing: if anyone's been listening to this podcast for a long time, I'll call myself out on it. I was not at all when Top Gun Maverick was coming out. What was this? 2021, 2022? I can't remember now. When it was coming out, I said phooey. I said phooey. I used to be excited about it, 2 years ago, back in 2020, and I was like, now it's been too late. The hype's over. I'm done. I said I may watch it in theaters, but I'm not excited about it, and I don't think it'll be a good movie. And I was so wrong. It was my number one movie, I think, of the year. I loved it. I was shocked at how good it was. It is. In my opinion, a war movie, and so it's excellent. I did a whole podcast on Top Gun Maverick, so I'm not going to talk any more about it, but that's my number 3. Number 2 is the one that I had to look up because I couldn't remember the name. I'm embarrassed about it, but it's Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket, just that first half when they're in boot camp is the best part of the entire movie. It's the best part of the entire movie. But the second half's good too, but obviously the first half is just so good and so many funny quotes and everything. And I remember we quoted this movie years before we watched it. Years before we saw it, we knew the quotes. And so someone goes, have you ever seen it? I said, no. And they said, oh, we got to watch it. And I watched it. I think I was in college back then, and we laughed and had fun. And it was a fantastic movie. Fantastic movie. Have not seen it recently. In fact, let me see. Top Gun Maverick I've seen recently, but no, none of these movies I have seen recently. I usually don't watch movies again. Probably my number one was the last. Top Gun Maverick I saw recently, but I've only seen it once. Gosh, Guys and Generals twice. Saving Private Ryan I've only seen once. Full Metal Jacket I believe I've seen it twice only. That's odd. This other movie, number one, I've only seen twice too. Huh? Guess I'm not that big of a war movie guy. This is a good topic either way. But anyway, Full Metal Jacket, great one. Now I will. Maybe there is an honorable mention. Platoon, pretty good. I didn't know whether to put Tropic Thunder on here. It's filming a war movie thing, but Tropic Thunder is hilarious. And yeah, I guess that's it for honorable mention. Thin Red Line, Black Hawk Down. I remember them being awesome. I remember loving them. There's a few others here that I looked at and I was like, yeah, I remember liking that movie, but I can't remember a thing about it. What was it? There's these other ones that came on Netflix a while back that my brother loves, and I think they are the most boringest films ever. Scorpion, I can't remember. I think they're so dumb. And he loves them. He keeps pitching them to me, but they're so dumb. Either way, though, there's great TV series like God, goodness gracious, We Were Soldiers. Is that what it was? And then what's the other one? The Pacific or whatever. Man, those are great. I've seen both of those 2 or 3 times. So a lot of good TV war shows. I think Hogan's Heroes is one. I'm kidding. I'm kidding about Hogan's Heroes, but so there's a good. I thought about this. There's some good honorable mentions for TV shows, but We Were Soldiers I've seen a lot and 2 or 3 times. Same thing for The Pacific. The Pacific's not as good, but still enjoyable and well worth a rewatch for me. I think I've only seen that twice. And then We Were Soldiers maybe 3 times. And I'd watch that one again. I just love that that TV show. Maybe it's better as a TV show. I don't know. And I mean, shoot, when everyone gives me their top 5 in these chats, I may be going, "Oh, I forgot about that," or "Yeah, I knew about it, but didn't remember it that well to put it down here." My number one's a little off, but it is one I thought about. And I said it does have to deal with war. It's not your classic. Everyone thinks war is World War I, World War II. Oh, I should also mention Patton. I love Patton, and the reason it didn't make it on here is I did rewatch this a few years back. It's a little bit slower in parts. I know that it was in 1980, but I remember loving it back when I watched it in the mid to late 90s. And my second time through was, I mean, it was just 5 years ago, I want to say, that I saw it. And I was so excited to be seeing it again. I was like, kind of drug in a little parts, and I didn't like that. But I think what's his name, George whatever, who did Patton, was excellent in it. It's still a good film, but had some dead spots in. Because of that, that's why I didn't make my top 5. Anyway, number one, 300. Probably, I think Zack Snyder did that. I think he did. If so, it's one of the only movies I like from him. 300 is just so much fun. I have seen it recently. The sequel, I can take or leave. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's okay. I don't think they need to do a sequel, but since the first one made so much money, they did. 300, it's not dated with its CGI, its fake looking blood and stuff like that. It's obvious blue screen backgrounds. I don't mind it because it's got some kind of that's kind of an art style of the film, and I would definitely watch this again and again. I think it's just a fun movie to watch. I'd probably watch the sequel again too, even though I think I've only seen that once. Maybe I'd watch that one again. I used to have a board game 300, but because it was 2 player, I didn't play it that much. I think I gave it away to someone, but I do love the movie. The movie's really good, and the TV show. If this was a TV show, Spartacus. I mean, shoot, I love Gladiators in the Arena. Spartacus is a great series, better than 300, but 300 would be second, and then maybe something like Russell Crowe's Gladiator. But I enjoyed 300 more than anything. So yeah, that's mine. So good suggestion for a top 5. Top 5 war movies. I did think of like other things. Maybe should I do top 5 documentaries? And then when I thought about that, there is literally, oh, you know what? I could do top 5 documentaries now. It would basically all be, I think I could do top 5 documentaries. Wow. I just realized I could. So maybe I'll do top 5 documentaries next time. That's actually not a bad idea. It's even more boring than before. But yeah, why not? Top 5 documentaries. Done. Done. But I was trying to think of other genres of movies that I just haven't covered. And I looked, and it seems like we've covered them all, except for documentaries. And I was about to joke that I couldn't come up with 5. But now that I'm thinking about it, my brother and I he's just watching a documentary, I think for the first time. I've seen it like 3 times and love it. And I know that would be my number 1. I think I know it would be number 2. Gosh, I think I can come up with all of them. But so I can do a top 5 documentaries. I appreciate me a documentary every once in a while. So maybe that's what I'll do. Some top 5 documentaries. Gotta do something. Benjamin's now, to be fair, Wes, he has been really nice about asking if he could come over, help record. I'd love to have him on, but for the past couple of weeks, as of this podcast, my AC has finally gotten fixed. I did test it for a few days to make sure it's not working as the best. It seems to work harder now. Like it's constantly running just to get to the levels I want it to, but at least it's running now. I mean, oh well. So I won't tell you what the electricity bill though was. Yeah, more than double the amount of previous ones. But since I'm going to go to the beach soon, or by the time close to the time this podcast comes out, guess who's shutting out everything? It's going to be like 95 degrees when I get back in here, but I've got to balance out my electricity bill because this past month was bad, and the way this thing's been running all weekend ain't going to get any better. But anyway, folks, Let me know in the comments below if you're on YouTube here, what your top 5 war movies are. And like I said, there's a lot of good ones out there. I must not be the biggest war movie buff, but we'll see you next time on Saturday Morning Samoflange.